Nothing like an intro with massive boobs to kick things off. Am I right, everybody? Welcome to day 3 of Terrificon. Here we are at the Take 12 podcast. We're live on the floor. So last year, we had the privilege of talking to Scott. Scott, give me your last name because mine's Pimentel, and I don't want to screw yours up.
That's all right. It's Polochik.
Scott Polochik. Okay. And so you're the creator of MARCVS, and you guys founded Dreamscape Publishing. Okay. So what an incredible story. We talked about your service in the military and how you drew from that experience into creating this comic. You had such clever marketing ideas with the QR codes embedded into the pages. We love the story about, well, I mean, we didn't love it. It was just thrilling. The fact that you could hit the QR code and you could see the footage of the embedded reporter getting hit by the RPG and things like that. And we talked last year about how you were going to work with a group of Roman centurion reenactors, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then you were going to get into stamping challenge coins, and then we talked about the custom dog tag covers that you could do for the comic books and things like that, right?
Yep.
So all incredible things. And from a marketing standpoint, whenever I talk to people and they're trying to, they're trying to market their business or come up with a new, clever way to, or an angle to get more eyes on their projects,
they completely ignore you.
They do. They completely ignore me. So hearing you say all those things, I'm like, damn, this guy's got it figured out. So I love all that stuff. So we've been following you since last Terrificon, and we're so glad that you came back. Please tell me where you left off in that process. And I'm dying to know and see some of that footage from the Roman reenactors if you have it.
Oh, sure.
Okay. All right.
First and foremost, thank you so much for having us back.
Oh, yeah.
And this is my business partner, John Hahn.
Hey, John, how are you?
So John was actually my LCS owner, and when I was, as I said before, when I was had MARCVS published with a different publisher, and they went under. He looked at me and he was like, this is far too cool of a story not to get out. So that's when he and I went together and created Dreamscape Publishing.
Okay.
So last year when we were here, I think the only thing that we had was MARCVS, we had Lady Savage, and our God is Hungry book. By the end of this year, we'll have 13 titles under Dreamscape's banner.
Wow.
So the past year, some things kind of got pushed a little bit because of arrangements, but our growth has now been steady, and we're doing it as measured growth because we don't want to get over our skis, right? We want to make sure that we're able to put out good product. We bought a brand new production machine, so we are handling all the printing in-house. We're actually printing for other creators as well. So we've expanded that part of our business. So in issue 4, we released, here's the, one of the interior pages. That's the page that has all the QR codes with the Roman reenactors.
Right. And
the coin that's on the front cover, that's the coin that we did as a challenge coin that we had on the Kickstarter. So we definitely moved forward on that side.
Yeah.
It took a little bit longer with that issue only because the licensing with the reenactment group, we wanted to, I wanted to make sure that they were protected and they were doing stuff. So we wanted to make sure that, who was keeping control and all that stuff. I was like, once we got all that figured out, we got the issue out. Issue 5 is already done. That will release in November. And the custom dog tag cover, that will be on. We're going to launch the Kickstarter for that in first week of December. So I'm trying to get a couple tables at Steel City Con out in Pittsburgh, because I'm from Pittsburgh.
Right.
And my friend Carmen, who is one of the characters in the book that got shot in the face with the RPG, he's from there. So we'll be able to have a huge launch in our hometown for that particular issue. You'll be able to order it through Kickstarter or on our website. So, but again, that's the one that we will be able to do a one-of-one cover for somebody. So if you want to dedicate it to a family member that was in the military or something like that, on that dog tag, we'll have, their information, and then we'll laser and we're going to put a package together where you laser engrave one of the one of the dog tags with that information. So that's what we're definitely looking forward to.
So where's the website where people can find all that stuff?
It's at dreamscapepub.com.
Okay. So it's so cool to hear, because I mean, a lot of people say, hey, we're going to do this next year. And you're lucky if you do one,
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys just listed everything, you got a nice little tight battle plan there. It's very cool. So kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question. So as a filmmaker and a guy that has to work with limited budgets all the time, I am finding more and more that customers are totally content with using AI. Okay. Now I know it's a tricky subject.
Sure.
Okay. It's a tricky subject. So, but logistically, when you talk about having real live people that are Roman reenactors and they're going to do it in another world away,
Yeah.
and how you organize that and how do you get it done, we could crank that out in a couple of hours and it would be wild. You know what I mean? So, and I understand that it's a slippery slope, right? Everybody's like, well, you want if you could do it live, you could do it live, right?
Sure.
But when you're publishing your own books and now you got a lot of overhead you got to worry about, it's like, what do we do? So when you're faced with something like that where you could do it, like how do you figure that out? Like,
so I'll answer this two ways, right? So my regular job, I work with a consulting company, right? And when we work with manufacturing companies, and a lot of times manufacturing companies are putting in enterprise resource systems, and we're taking data and we're using AI to crunch that data and utilizing it in that fashion. 100%.
Right.
That is exactly what it is made for. It's what it does best. We needed an app for the publishing company, and sitting down and having AI create an app for us to maintain all of our titles and the UPC codes and everything that we need to create a file to send to a comic shop. I would have had to pay somebody thousands of dollars and had weeks of time to build this.
Right.
And I literally did it in AI in 2 or 3 days. Now, you could say I took the job away from a programmer, but I'm also a programmer, so I didn't have time to do it.
Right.
So I utilized the tools that are at hand.
Yeah.
When it comes to creative, I'm 100% against it.
Okay.
I do not want to see it from a creative standpoint because, like you said, it is that slippery slope. I'm an artist, and I know that if I create something and I use AI, I can polish it up and make it look, but then it ceases to be my creation, and now it becomes something else. When we put something on the paper, we want it to be 100% original. We want it to be 100% from somebody's mind and put onto the paper. So reaching out to the group in Poland that does the reenactments, I mean, for a long time, some of the delay was because we had great discussions, and then they got busy and we had nothing.
Right.
So for a couple months, I was waiting on them and stuff like that. But to get that end product, it everybody that I show those videos to, it blows their mind.
Yeah.
Like it is the one is almost like a Hollywood, production. It is fantastic.
Right.
And I would rather have something like that than a computer generated, and it's kind of funny because we just were shown yesterday a picture from the Odyssey that somebody had made a movie poster of the Odyssey with AI.
Yeah.
And it literally used the concept from my the issue number 2 of MARCVS.
Uh-oh.
It literally used that concept in the Odyssey poster.
Really?
So I was sitting there going, there's no reason why Odysseus should have the hole in the mirror on his face.
Yeah.
Other than AI scraped the internet, and because they saw the description of MARCVS,
Right.
it pulled the concept of the broken mirror without understanding what that broken mirror signifies in the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that image in AI, okay, you stole my idea.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yes, you turned it into something else, but you stole my concept.
Right.
So, and it's funny because when I was here last year and we were talking about the dog tags.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many people came out with hands holding dog tags after we did this interview. So you guys are getting seen by a lot of people.
Well,
and I'll tell you what, I'll even say the new Rambo movie, the movie poster, it's a hand holding a pair of dog tags.
The prequel. Yeah.
So whoever at Rambo, they were watching your show and they stole my idea. So if they want to kick me some cash, I'm more than happy to take it.
I think the people from Shutterstock are following us online, probably. Well, so, I mean, and I'll ask this question. Was the reenactor group in Poland, were they doing that just because they wanted to do it and they enjoy it, or are they getting paid to do that?
No, I mean, they do festivals all summer long.
Right.
So I had reached out to them and just said, hey, I love your stuff. Here's my comic.
Yes.
I sent them my script and I said, is there any way that I could link to some of your videos?
Right.
And I told them what I did in issue 1 with the QR codes and everything else. So that's where we had gone back and forth on the licensing. I told them, this is your stuff.
Right.
And to be honest, I can't pay you to do it. Like it'd be way expensive.
Yes.
But can I link to your stuff? That gives you exposure. I gave them a whole page on the back inside cover as an advertisement for their group and everything else, because I'm extremely appreciative that they allowed me to do that. So, again, it was pretty wild.
So similar to some things that we have encountered in the past. So like reenactor groups they're absolutely gung ho.
Oh yeah.
Like we did a coffee commercial for a company a couple years ago and it was American Revolution based.
Okay.
And we just reached out to one of 50 groups on Facebook that were all local guys to us. And we said, hey, we got this coffee commercial going. We need a bunch of red coats. Who's in? Talk to the guy. He organizes people. They showed up. They come out full kit. They walk out in the woods. They do all their bits. They just wanted to be in it,
Well. Yeah,
so it's one thing if they'll do it and they're just doing it because they're happy and there's sort of a cross promotion for groups, you know, that's great. Obviously, if you had to put out the actual production expense for all that stuff, it would be, and hopefully someday you will be able to, right?
Hopefully, yeah. If we get to that point,
I want to watch the MARCVS series.
Yeah, well, that would be perfectly.
Oh shit,
that would be awesome.
I got to stop putting stuff out into the ether.
No. Put that out into the ether because if they come to me and say, I may call you and say, hey, listen, I need somebody to help produce this.
We need a young, middle-aged, handsome director, very talented.
There you go.
Looks good in a toga.
Very short.
Yeah, willing to come home on his shield. Let's get this guy.
There you go. So, yeah, no, I mean, it's, again, it's, the dream is if somebody were to pick something like that up. But, ultimately what John and I are trying to build and bringing in, we've talked to a lot of creators here at the show that are just looking for somebody to partner with them. And that's what we're trying to do is everybody that we have, we have several new books. We have this book that's on Kickstarter right now. It's The Last Whistle of Steamboat Willie. So Steamboat Willie is now in the public domain and Disney, we don't ever want to fight the House of Mouse.
Everybody.
But, what they've come up with, what the story that he came up with is he's a huge Disney fan and it's a wonderful homage. And what we did is the Kickstarter is the color version of this book. And what we did was bring a black and white version here to Terrificon. So the only place you'll be able to get the black and white version, and Steamboat Willie was in black and white, is this book. But we want to be able to partner with creators and have a home that they know that we're going to work with them. And as we grow, I always say, the old saying, the rising tide lifts all boats.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we have this project. We have a huge 80s throwback team book called Galactics.
Okay.
And the gentleman who did this book, he actually was the one that produced and drew the original Centurion that's on our MARCVS. And he's done a bunch of covers for us. We've got a book called Sinister, which is a supernatural Old West. It's a preacher hunting down the 7 deadly sins.
Oh,
and
man.
the 2 writers are here at Terrificon, and they always come in full regalia. So,
Right.
Fantastic. We have a young man that wrote a book called Upstart, which is a huge, very cool sort of teen superhero book that very much runs into like an Invincible type series.
Okay.
But without the blood and gore.
Got it.
But it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
And then, looking at some of the creators that are joining us, we have a gentleman named Nick Davis. He brought his entire catalog to Dreamscape because he liked the way that we were doing work and what we're doing. And he has a series called Let's Hunt Monsters, which is about a teddy bear that hunts all the monsters under your bed with a baseball bat.
Holy mackerel.
It's really fun. It's really cool. It's a very kid-friendly book.
Sure.
So we have the Upstart and Let's Hunt Monsters, which is our kid-friendly books. So we're trying to have a very diverse catalog of series that are available. We also have another series that's going to be starting up, I think next month is the Kickstarter, called Lady Nova. And we were very lucky enough to have Chris Campana do a cover for it, which is on the screen right now. Chris Campana did the cover for that, and we'll probably have a New York Comic-Con. I believe we're trying to get a Walmart Live exclusive or something there. We're still in negotiations with something on that, but we want to make a pretty big splash with that one. But again, we're trying to get the word out and get our books out and we know every book isn't for everybody, but we hope that we have a catalog that appeals to most people. So.
I mean, it's diverse, and it sounds like you guys have seriously been busy. And I'm gonna do it again, but what kid wouldn't want a stuffed teddy bear in their room that they knew would murder things under their bed?
Right. I definitely would.
That would sell like hotcakes.
I want it now.
Yeah.
I love the idea, Scott, that you were talking to a young woman yesterday. She showed up in this amazing full pot regalia with a skull face and a skull body, and she was like asking you for advice because she's an aspiring comic book creator, and I think that's a great idea that you could reach out and have a platform to encourage and have creators.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to, this is nothing new. I mean, you can look and see, thousands of books out there. I'm not holding on to ancient technology or there's no ancient Chinese secret to it. If you're a creative, be creative. If you want to express yourself, express yourself. Like I said, I mean, I didn't start writing comics until I was in my 50s. I wish I would have been doing it earlier. So, it's something that I absolutely enjoy and absolutely love. And if we can grow this so I could do it full time, I'd be an even happier guy.
So we had a couple of guys on yesterday who have an Amazon series that's coming out hopefully in a year or so. And we discussed, how do you get it pitched? How do you get it made? And he said, when you come into the room, you have to have everything ready to go. You've got to have your budgets ready to go. You got to have answers to all your questions. If they ask you anything about, concepts or what it's going to look like, you got to be prepared, right?
Sure.
And they had one meeting with Sony, and Sony said yes, which is kind of unheard of, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So if somebody's going to publish a book and they're going to come to you and say, hey, I got this idea, I want you guys to make it. What do they need to bring with them in that meeting so you guys can say, this is a viable thing that we can do, and I think we should take a chance with it?
I'll let my business partner. I'm on the production side,
I got it.
So I'll let him. He's on the business side.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, it's the conversation.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It's bring me your story. Tell me what it's about. How passionate are you about it? But it's really about our conversation.
Okay.
It's less about the story. We can work through what's in their head and what they're thinking, how they want to lay this out. We can work through that with artists and other creators, but can you and I work together?
Okay.
Can the three of us build a relationship that's going to make this property bigger than, as big as it could be?
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's more about, is this going to work?
Yeah.
So that's to me, that's what builds this whole business.
So it seems to me, anyway, in the comic book industry, so many guys that we've talked to that have started to self-publish and stuff, that they've taken away sort of the people up top. And I just keep drawing parallels to the movie business just because that's familiar.
Mhm.
So, there's a huge disconnect between management and creative, especially in film and TV, which is how we get so many of these lost, IPs and things like that nowadays. If they let the creative people drive it, it would be a whole different story,
Mhm.
But I also understand the problem that, creative people are like, I'm so good at being creative, I don't know how to pay my taxes. Like, I understand that, right? But when you get too many people up top making decisions based on things that aren't creative, or like you say, this is important, the conversation is important, like this guy's a mess, or we got to like get him focused up, but there's something there, and you still have the instinct to take a chance on it. I don't think that's really like a business acumen. I think that's more of like a personal, thing, or something from your gut.
But the one thing that it has to be is collaborative.
Yeah.
Right. So most creatives, and I'm a creative, most creatives have a trouble or have a problem with the main focus. Like
Right.
my wife will say my ADHD brain sometimes takes over, or my ADD brain just starts going off on in one direction.
Right.
So you need to have a team, again, that can, John and I work very well because I deal more on the creative side, the production side. He's on the business side. So he can focus, and he keeps me focused on, here's the tasks that need done.
Right.
We have these books. I need you to lay these books out. We need these covers ready to go so we can submit them for our distribution. So, we use the job board.
Nifty.
Nifty.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
My brain
it's
wasn't working there. But we use Nifty to keep everything in line. So we know here's when the deadlines are, here's what needs to be done. And then it helps us rein in the creators of those things, because the artists and the colorists, and when you're managing all these different titles and everybody has a different deadline and things like that, one day I'm writing, contracts for artists and things like that. The next day I'm laying out, paginating a book to get it ready to print. So, there's a lot of different things. So having somebody who knows how to put those guardrails in to keep everything in focus. And again, that's why I say it has to be collaborative.
Right.
I want you to be as creative as you can be.
Yeah.
But we also need to keep it focused. Yeah. We got to meet deadlines.
Yeah.
And we've had a few problems, and like anything else, you're going to have hiccups. I mean, nothing is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
We had a problem with an artist, and we ended up having to literally cancel one of our Kickstarters. We're not that big. So it had a domino effect on a number of different things. But then we were able to we're at our size, we're still agile enough that we could refocus, get a whole new creative team, and then get that product out. It was a little bit later, but now, we're back on track with everything else. So, again, you have to be ready to go, and you need to be able to work with your team and make sure your team is working well, because ultimately, at the end of the day, a shop is buying this title, we need to deliver. Right. And we need to make sure that we're delivering them the best product as possible.
Yeah.
So.
And so many issues with Kickstarters that's kind of faith-based, where people are like, they hopped on board for the first one, they watch you guys grow, like, great, this is great. I'm on board for number 2 or whatever. And then, as you say, if somebody falters, they're like, uh-oh, and people don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. So they're less apt to come back for the rest of them.
And we've been organically growing this, a following that now when people see stuff go up on Kickstarter, each one of our Kickstarter, there's been a drastic, upward arc of people jumping on Kickstarter and getting hey, this looks cool, and supporting. So the support level keeps going up with each one of the titles that we put out.
Right.
So again, we're kind of looking at that and saying we don't want to turn these people away by having something bad.
Right.
We want to make sure that, we're turning out the best product possible.
Yeah. So did I hear, I think Chris told me that you guys were releasing something this weekend or something just for Terrificon?
Yeah, so that's the last whistle of Steamboat Willie.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
Sorry. Okay.
So that's live on Kickstarter right now.
Okay.
But we have the artist edition, the black and white artist edition, available here at Terrificon.
Okay. All right, great. And I know it's kind of late. It is Sunday. What time is it, guys?
It's 1:20. There's plenty of time to get here to Terrificon if you're in the neighborhood.
Terrificon's still open till 5. So if you're in the room or if you're local, get the hell down here pronto and wear a toga. If you wear a toga, they give you a severed toe from a Polish reenactor that's flown all the way here to Connecticut. We promise you, it's a hell of a story. So I'm happy to follow you guys. I really like what's going on, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next. Really looking forward to it. My son found your comics that we brought home last year. He was in the basement flipping through some of the pages, and I said, buddy, I think those are boobies. So we had a talk, and everything's all good.
That's good.
So happy to have you on again. Scott,
thank you,
John. Yeah, anytime.
Thank you for the support and allowing us to come back on this year, and hopefully by next year, we'll have doubled in growth again, and maybe have a whole new set of tales to tell. So.
I'm sure we will. So thanks for coming on, guys. I appreciate it. All right, so that's the latest episode from the floor of Terrificon with the Take 12 podcast. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep it up on the live stream, and we'll see you for the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Yeah.